Alrighty guys, so welcome back to another video. So very quickly we're gonna pick up right where we left off. The plan for today is to open up the third motor, the build motor for Judas. So stay tuned. Okay, alright, so run into a couple of roadblocks. Again, I still have not read the service manual, so well, so again, I have not read the service manual, so be kind to me guys. So somebody in the comments probably saying like, just read the service manual, you'll probably get it done a lot quicker. I know, when I get some time I'll actually go for that. So I went ahead and removed all the cams. This motor does have right here in my organized mess, it does have some let's see if you can see that, it has some GSC S1 cams, right? It's part of the built motor. I believe it has springs and retainers. I'm not sure what springs and retainers, but it does. So ARP head studs again. I even think I lost one of the nuts, so if anybody in the comment has a spend a lighter on, go ahead and let me know. If not, I'll probably have to buy a whole set of studs just to get that one nut. But anyways, my issue is that I cannot lift the head. This part, I believe is called the chain guide. It hits the side of that. If I had regular head bolts, then I would probably be able to pull them out and then pull the engine out, no problem. I don't have an Allen key long enough to pull the head studs out. So this is as far as I get. So you can see the gap, about a finger width. The gasket on the hair is gone. So this is as far as I get. So I think what I'm going to do now, which it may seem like a lot of work now, but I still have to do it inevitably, is take up at the bottom, remove the front cover, and I guess you'll be able to access whatever is secure in this chain guide in there. And I should be able to lift the head, scrape off the gasket, and we'll have a look at the condition of the block surface, which is what I'm mostly interested in right now. And after that, later on, maybe tomorrow, I'll probably check out the bearing conditions as well. Okay, and we have the lower bottom pan, oil pan, whatever you want to call it, depends on what part of the world you're from. We have it off, and we have good news, guys. No gold. So this is looking positive. Or someone just put in fresh oil after they got a bearing knock, but either way, it's looking good. So less recording, more working. Okay, and what is that? Yeah, before I lose all daylight, because the sun is about to set, by now you guys will have already realized that I'm not an engine person. I do know my way around engines, but I would not say that I would I could make a living building engines or repairing. That's not my forte. I do my own repairs. And yeah, let me just show you guys what I do to keep myself organized. So everybody knows that whenever you take an engine apart, you always have bolts, you never know where they go. So this is my tip. For the bottom pan, maybe somebody can use this. Maybe you guys already know that. Bottom pan, so these are the first bolts I needed to take out. Then the bottom pan came off. Then I needed to take out these bolts to get this, I guess, splash shield or whatever you want to call it. And that's a quick tip. That's how I usually do things to keep it organized. And then when I go back to put everything together, I can just go in order, in reverse order, that is. I don't have a workbench because, again, in the Caribbean third world country, this is my workspace, literally on gravel. So I don't have a workbench. I intend on building one of those. Spare engine is here. Other spare engine is in the trunk of that car since I don't drive it. So again, just working with what I have. So quick tech tip for all you guys who are, well, working on a budget like me. Right? So more work, less filming. Okay, alright, so I have the bottom pan off, and okay, in the background here, I know I'm not with Tony Pelo. I'm just listening to him again. It's another podcast. You guys should really listen to the old Do It For a Living podcast, but Tony is just a little bit too loud.
But take a step back now and look at.
Alright, so Tony, I should pause Tony. Yeah, so bottom pan is off, the front cover is off. For some reason, I don't have an Allen key to remove this one, so it just looks like I just need to loosen up this one. I should be able to pivot, or might have to remove both of them. Bye bye, baby. and that should enable me to pull off the head, scrape off the gasket, and see what I'm working with. So where is Meldon when you need him? Okay, so I have the head off, as you saw from my victory dance just now. I may or may not put that clip in. Frankly, it was a bit embarrassing. But yeah, so we have a cheap, what's that kind of gasket called? Composite gasket. So next step, I'm just going to scrape that up, and then I'm going to have a look at the block to see how well or how bad it is. Okay, and I got my headlight on. Okay. Alright, so this is cylinder number 1, and if we look here, we can see the detonation damage on the edges of the cylinder. Just one edge. This is, which side is that? That the exhaust side? Yeah, the exhaust side is damaged. Cylinder 2 looks good. Cylinder 3 looks good. Still has minor detention marks, and cylinder 4 looks good. So again, I'm not sure if this one is salvageable. Might be able to have someone weld this up and then just deck the block, shave the block, whatever you want to call it. I am not sure. So I have options. Another thing I'm thinking of is, if my dog would just be quiet, is to, I guess, use the cams, the rods, the crank, and everything from this one, springs, retainers, and just transfer it over to my Sr20det head and block. And that way, I guess, it will have a Doodle, stop it! We'll have a semi-built engine, so it'll have built rods, but stock pistons, well, forged rods, stock pistons, and cams, retainers. I believe the. Anyways, I'll probably end up rambling for a few minutes, so I don't know where we're gonna end up with this one. Okay, daytime shot of the damage to the block. So as you can see right here, we have the pitting. I'm not sure if the last clip, the nighttime clip, got that for you guys, but this is what we're working with. So I am not a machinist, but I think this one is might be a bit expensive, because you might have to weld this entire thing up, then deck the block, maybe rebore it. Might have to do that to 2 cylinders, at which point is it actually even worth it? I don't know. Right, daytime shot for you guys. Yeah, alrighty, so I have the cradle off the bottom, and okay, today what am I listening to? I'm listening to, I think, a Sloppy Mechanics podcast. Cannot recall the name of the guest. It's about wiring, but yeah, you can see here I already have one of the caps already undone, and you can see the ARP hardware on the manly rod. So not much to see here, so just gonna go straight into continuing the deconstruction or disassembly of this bottom end. Okay, and rods are out. We have them lined up here, so when you run out of space on your floor mat, you use the bonnet of the car, which you're supposed to be fixing, and yeah, you get the point. So right here you can see we have the manly rod, and so far I can see that the bearings don't look too bad. This motor did have a few years on it. I'm not sure if he changed bearings after it was built, but for the most part the bearings look really good. And I feel, I'm not a engine builder, but I believe that the top half of the bearing usually shows the most wear, especially if you have detonation. You have the rod pretty much slamming this end down onto the crankshaft. And I believe these are CP pistons, 87mm bore, hence why I cannot use it on a stock bore motor. So guys, let me know, should I just wing it and reuse this bearing in there? I believe it has some cleavite bearings, so should I wing it, or should I just go ahead and throw some fresh bearings in it? The bearings would save me some money, but again, I hate to open up a motor and, I guess, cut any shortcuts. But again, if it ain't broke, why fix it? Let me know.